Well, welcome to another episode of the Corner Talk. We haven't given y'all some in a while, so it really behooved us. So it really absolutely made sense for us to get back at it. And who better to start it than this gentleman right here? He's been a favorite in the league. He generates a lot of energy, a lot of response. The fans literally ask for him. They call the organization, they ask, and they inquire, when is this gentleman fighting again? What is he doing? What's his history? What's his path? So instead of answering the questions for him, we decided to let him answer himself. Ladies and gentlemen, fans, cohorts, enemies, and haters, Mr. Sayyid Campbell himself. How you feeling today, sir?
Feeling good, feeling good.
Another good day?
Yep, always.
Absolutely. So, I don't want to steal your thunder, and I want you to have every opportunity to express who you are, what you stand for. So, okay. Sir, can you explain to the people how long you've been fighting?
I have been boxing since I was 5 years old. I got into it with my stepdad. I would go to dance class and I would jump around like Muhammad Ali, and he wanted me to learn to defend myself since I was around ladies. I had older sisters, younger sisters, cousins, mostly females, so he was like, I'm gonna show you how to do it. And then he wound up getting addicted to drugs and he left, so I stayed on the path of doing so. And that's how I got started. Little League, we moved to Ohio. After we moved to Ohio, I was like, oh, okay, Blackburn, Sawyer, and all them other gyms. I would go and keep going and started competing. And after that, just blew up, and then now I'm here.
You touched on something. I kind of want to go into that a little bit, man. I always tell people there's a certain value to sports, and in this case, boxing in particular. You kind of touched on your upbringing of relocating and some touchy and edgy family history. Does boxing help with that? Do you recommend this for that kid that may have been in your circumstance?
I do. I recommend it because I had a lot of PTSD and I did not know it. A lot of people brag about, oh yeah, I got it, and it's something simple that they had their grandma and get them a goldfish. All of a sudden, they traumatized.
Absolutely.
So mine was family murders. I don't watch cousin get dragged outside, tied him to a pole, shoved a gun in his mouth, pulled the trigger twice, and drug him away. World Trade Center survivors, that's where I come from. And didn't know about all that trauma that was repressed until God touched his hand and was like, I need you to be a man. So I had to stop boxing, started working, and then it kicked in.
Wow.
So the only thing I know as therapy would be to be physically in shape, mentally in shape, and this was an outlet.
I know a lot of people don't know, and I know because we talk off camera and we have a relationship, that you really an advocate for mental health, expressing yourself and stuff. And I don't think people understand that, see that about you. That's why I think they see us as fighters, as participants in this league, and don't understand we are really in this community. We are available, we are accessible. So we like to give this opportunity to let these guys talk and express themselves. But if I'm not mistaken, you made the Olympic team or came close or something similar to that.
I did. I turned 13 and a half. And then the AAU team, which took over boxing, ran boxing till about a couple years ago. They sold it to Canada. Bad idea. But then they wound up calling me like, hey, you guys want to qualify? I said, sure thing, I'll go qualify. I turned 14, and I started fighting over here in this country, that country. They started coming here. And then after that, they was like, hey, you want a chance to, go overseas? And I had my sister sign my mom's name. And then I left, and she thought I was doing something for dancing.
Right.
So when I got home, I learned how to box again and rope-a-dope because that butt whooping was profuse. So that's how that got started.
I think people, I think they misunderstand you a little bit, man. You're very accessible. You're gentle, you're loving, you're endearing. You know what I mean? But man, you really can fight. How does that translate over? How do you balance that?
One is in the mind. People take boxing and labels too seriously. It's a lot of black exploitation that's going on, and everybody's falling for a trick, which I'm not a part of. Everybody want to be a nigga till it's time to be a nigga, and they're like, oh no, I don't want to go to jail. Somebody bail me out. Free my homie Little Demon. I'm not freeing nobody named Demon. Satan can keep him, and Team Jesus, and That's it. I'm not with the guns and drugs and all that other stuff, and then one moment be like, hey, let's save the community. No, you got options and you got choices.
Absolutely. So that kind of segues into, what do you think about this program? What do you think about this movement? Because at its heart, it is a community-based, a community empowering movement. What do you think about it? Is there, or what attracted you to it as well?
Well, the whole thing with that was, so I signed up again to qualify for the Olympics. I failed out here in Ohio miserably. And then I wanted to think, okay, I'm gonna go to the West Coast, try out there. They said, okay, cool.
Remember that.
COVID came around, so then boom, I wound up losing two little brothers, Bam and Rio, shout out to them, RIP. And, so then I was like, hey, I kept praying on it, like, I need an outlet. I'm trying not to act as the kind of person that I tell everybody not to be. So what would that be? Had a cousin, Papa Mike, he wound up competing, and I came here, wound up gloving everybody up, teaching people stuff, got in hold of AR, and I just told him I loved the movement, and shot on from there.
Right. Huge shout out to Bam and Rio, two amazing little young gentlemen, very talented, that lost their life. Never in vain. You inspired a lot of people, and you touched many. But when I say, well, what brought you here and things like that, because there's a debate about real boxing. You have actual boxing experience versus real boxing versus what we do.
Right.
And how do you feel about that? You see that debate that rages on our Facebook group, Shots Fired, Guns Up. How do you even entertain it, or do you have an opinion on it, or just something that just goes totally by?
My opinion and fact on it is that there's different levels in life with everything. This is a level. When I first got here, everybody was windmilling and trying to throw their favorite punch.
Absolutely.
As soon as people who actually learned the sport and had a discipline, and we started teaching more, we started bringing back life to things that they wanted to acquire. They're like, oh, I want to learn this. I want to take this seriously. And like I said, God played his hand. All right, everybody come and this and that. And we were all having fun. And then when I would fight, you would see, they would be like, how'd you throw that punch?
Yeah.
How you land that punch? And I had to teach them that he's showing me something. If I take a step forward, he's doing this little movement. You capitalize on that.
Right.
So it's levels, and everybody's getting to that level. Everybody's basically starting off at, like, the novice division, and now they working their way up, and that's what's going on now.
That's something that this gentleman does a lot. He is very available to help. He's not selfish with his talent. He's not selfish with his time. He will come work with you. He's literally a person that you can reach out on the phone and call. You know what I mean? But now that we've discussed the boxing and we know who you are, and we know a lot about your history, and we'll definitely go back into that. It's a fascinating story. When you look at just the talent in this league, do you see it as being on par with any other local up-and-coming leagues, or superior to? Or how you feel?
Definitely, this league definitely has the talent, because there's a lot of hate that everybody do not like Columbus, and we always have a civil war within ourselves, and it's like we need to branch that energy outside for everybody that does not like us. And the reason why being because we have all this opportunity. They still got stuff from the 60s and 50s, and they mad.
Yeah, that's amazing. You're a transplant. Ohio's your adopted hometown. I mean, as you alluded to, and you're very passionate about the 614, about Columbus and stuff. And I hope people see that and understand that. Like, this isn't alien to you or foreign to you. It's available to you. It's a simple reach out. Any person that you see participate, ask them. And they'll direct you to who to contact, where to contact. And I've said this 100 times. You don't have to come in the ring blind. You can come to the gym and learn your basics, learn your fundamentals, and increase your safety, increase your skill level, anything like that. So let me ask you something, man. I seen you fight before. Is there a boxer that you personally looked up to, that you emulate their style, or
Actually, there's a few of them, and I got a chance to meet a few of them. My favorite one of all to ever meet was Roy Jones Jr., because I loved his style. I always danced around like Muhammad Ali. And that go back into what got me into boxing was I was watching him, and then I always watched the Rocky movies with my aunt, and I was like, yeah, I'm Apollo Creed. My stepdad go, you got his afro. And then that was that.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, cool. And then I started mimicking that style, because I was fast enough. I could hit you with a right hand and move out the way.
Right.
I could hit you with a leaping left uppercut and duck out the way, and you still can't hit me.
Yeah, it's definitely thrown. I've watched you throwing those punches. So when the mother comes up to you and says, hey, Sayyid, I see you fighting. I see your story. I got a 6-year-old, and he wants to box, but I'm scared. I'm scared he's going to get hurt. And How do you answer that question? Do you tell people no, they shouldn't do it? Do you encourage them? How do you answer that?
I answer it with teaching the child discipline. This is going to not only teach him to be physically inclined, but mentally inclined as well. You'll get to learn the sport. That kid might not be picking up his lunchbox or his book bag when he get home because he has all that energy. This is an outlet for the energy. He gets to choose whatever he wants. You know, he punch the bag, come run. You get to learn your body more. You might be able to eat a full plate. You start to get physically in shape. His body can only take one piece of chicken and a half spoon of mashed potatoes or something.
Absolutely. I'm a big proponent of that. I tell people all the time, like, you know, people don't worry about the diet. Once you start working out, your body starts requiring better fuel. A lot of times that dictates your diet because you're working out consistently. Your body's like, we need something better.
Right.
That's one of the hidden benefits of this. When you start doing this, you know, you get in better shape. God willing, you live a little longer. You know, your mind's a little clearer. It's one of the great benefits of this sport. So we've had some controversy in this league about titles, who deserves it, who doesn't deserve it. You have an opinion on that?
I do. Whoever fights for it and goes for it, then that's it. It has been certain names that when, like, with JA came out and everybody was like, oh, you know, I don't want to try it. He left and everybody's like, let me attack Hero. And it's like, for what? Like, why y'all attacking this man when the first guy to have a belt, even if you lost, it's about you going out there go trying.
Yeah.
But you can't pick and choose your battles if the battle right there.
So how do you feel like when you hear in the event, not when you're just fighting, when you're at the event and you're walking around the crowd, people shake your hand, pat you on the back. What's the energy of the building? These people no idea what the energy is. The ones that haven't came yet, the ones that's worried about it. What's the energy in the building?
Very positive, very fun. Sometimes it takes too long for certain things to start, but other than that though, it's fun. You get food, you get whatever. If you drink alcohol, don't. I'm gonna start requesting Campbell breast milk and ice.
There's no alcohol. I don't know what he's talking about.
But no, I don't. I mean, the food.
The organization doesn't provide any alcohol. I don't know what this guy's talking about. Nah, I know
alcohol for your burns, scratches.
In all seriously, man. Okay, continue. I'm joking.
But they, I mean, the energy is real good. I mean, it's something to do besides get in trouble. It's constructive. Like you get to come and watch. You may be mad at something today or whatever. You get to come watch. You know, somebody punch somebody else. You might not want to be able to punch. You may know you cannot fight, but you get to support it.
Let me ask you. So all the accolades, and you have a lot of accolades on the actual boxing. Do people notice you for participating in this league? Do people acknowledge you in the street for participating in this league?
They do. I go back out west and they be like, yeah, man, you do look like the one dude that's fighting. And people be like, that's him. And I'm like, yeah, how you doing?
That's amazing. I see that a lot. You know, I see kids always hold you accountable. They run up to you and say, hey, I seen you. You know, you was participating or you did something in that league in that vein. So the fans that's demanding you get a title shot, some of them are saying, like, hey, Sayyid deserves a title shot. This is Sayyid deserves a title shot. Is there a title shot you will go after, or you?
I mean, I'll go after one, or better yet, I'll just show, you know, competition with the title shot, like actually give a show, because, you know, like that's it. Like Hero, when he punched AR in the face, he had a glove made of lamb meat. And I'm gonna let everybody know.
The lamb chop left, right?
I'm gonna let everybody know.
The lamb chop left, taco right, or something.
When he hit Bishop, he hit him with a cheetah and cheese sandwich. That's what happened.
Yeah, a lot of energy in that fight. A lot of build up, a lot of anticipation. Do you think it lived up to expectations?
It did. It also showed more than one thing. One person training and taking it seriously. One person focusing more on the entertainment value instead of actually getting himself mentally and physically in shape. Like, you have to take this thing. You can play and have fun at a certain degree. Like, you got to know what you're doing. Like, I know what I'm doing.
Absolutely.
So it's like, you have to understand that. You got to see it. Like, I've been in there with Napper and all of them. Everybody's stronger than me. And it's like, I've overcame that. And it's like, you can see that in the fights, what I've did. Like, I threw hands with somebody named God. I don't know. But, you know, and that was a good one. But, like, you have to be ready. You have to actually be serious and get in there.
You've actually had a lot of fan favorite fights. There's a lot of fights have been, the fans have said is their favorite particular fight. Is there one of your fights in this league that you felt was one of your favorite fights? The one that you watched and like, hey, I really enjoyed that one. From a fan's point of view, or
Fan's point of view? Me and Napper, because when I first got a fight, I was like, what I've said to myself was each fight I'm gonna show a different level of myself because I know how big these dudes is, and these dudes got like man strength. I still got the strength of a 16-year-old oppressed black woman, and that's what that's what I have. So I'm like, okay, cool. Me and Napper, I said, hey, I'm gonna show my little bit more skill. I was a little bit more ease in my mind. I had a little female company. Everybody was like, oh, Sayyid, put on a show, and I was like, I'm gonna be serious this time.
Right.
And that fight was really good.
There was a lot of controversy that fight about who actually won. Let me ask you: did you win? Did you lose? How do you feel about it?
I mean,
don't give me that. Is it just for the fans to decide, or do you have an opinion?
I mean, I say both ways. I mean, the fans decide. I mean, it's obvious. One person walked up to a person the entire round, one round, and got punched, threw a couple punches, missed. Hit me a few times. And that was that. Like, that's how it went. Like, I do give him the third and the fourth round because y'all see me do the stanky leg at the end of the fourth. Y'all did see that.
Yeah. Right.
He knocked the naps out my head. I thought I was about to have hair like Cat Williams in the next round. But I mean, that was that. I mean, first round me, second round me, third, fourth him. I took the fifth.
Okay. I mean, that's an honest review of the fight. From your perspective, right?
Yeah, because I'm like I know boxing, and it's like I'm not gonna act like I don't know it because everybody else all hyped up. And plus, I knew I had to put on some type of show because he brung his whole family. He had his cousins, his aunts, he even brung his wife and kids. That's how I knew. I was like, yeah, some bullshit about to go down. Yeah, he came fully prepared.
Shout out to Napper, man. He's prepared.
Shout out.
Heck of a guy, man. Heck of a gentleman.
Hell of a half breed.
Hell of a this guy's amazing. And I like that you give such an honest assessment of your talent, of your fights, and things like that, man. Is there a particular fight you watch in the league that's got your attention, or one of your favorite fights? Not one you participated in, just one you happen to be in the building for. It's like, hey, this was a good one.
I don't know what it is, but I love watching the females fight. I don't know. I think that power of independency, and I'm like, hell yeah, she about to. I don't know. Something about, I bet if I go to her house, the salmon gonna be wonderful. So I mean, that's mostly it. And then a lot of times it's the young kids that really have issues going on, and they bring their people, and you get to run across somebody where you like, my homie beat up your homie, and then they meet each other and they cool. They might not even know it,
right? Absolutely.
And like they squash a beef, and it's like the beat you can end it right there in the ring.
Yeah,
it's right there. There's plenty of opportunity.
Absolutely. That's something that we pride ourselves on, and we allude to that in a lot of the other interviews and things like that. Of when we give these kids an opportunity to, even though they have a beef and have an issue, to work in conjunction for maybe a bigger cause. Like, you know what? I'm going to bring more people than you. I'm going to make it, I'm going to have the victory on social media and you're not, And a lot of times, more often than not, I have not seen one situation that's not stopped once they competed in the ring. The escalation was going rapid, and then once they competed, it immediately stopped. And there's a mutual respect, and these gentlemen woke up the next day, they shook hands, even if they didn't become friends. They respected each other, and each person continued on with their life. Now, when you talk about boxing and you talk about a lot of different things, let me ask you a question. Who got the pound for pound title? Who do you think?
In boxing right now?
Yeah, you got Canelo, you got Bud.
I got Canelo is good. I got my boy Bud, though.
Bud, pound for pound?
Oh, yeah. Pound for pound. Definitely. Canelo had his wake-up call when he fought Mayweather. So, and Mayweather he ain't punch him hard, he ain't do nothing. He schooled him on boxing. Like, I can hit you, you can't hit me, I can get close to you. First of all, Mayweather was dipping uppercuts. Nobody's dipping uppercuts. I don't.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
I was like, no.
Yeah, it was an amazing thing. It was a great thing to see, man. I just really wanted these people to see who you are, to talk to you, let them know you're accessible. And also, this man is a teacher of the game. He has an amazing resume, and he's very, shy, doesn't necessarily broadcast it or be, arrogant about it. But he will spend the time with you. He will work on you with your footwork. He will do all those things. That's a very important quality this gentleman has, man. And I want y'all to see the personality this gentleman possesses. Y'all see the energy in the ring. Y'all see the lightheartedness. Y'all see all that. But if you're really paying attention, you also see a lot of skill. Sayyid, man, it was my pleasure, man. It was my honor to do this interview with you, my guy. And I hope to continue to see you. Ladies and gentlemen, Shots Fired Corner Talk. Sugar
Right.
Sayyid.